for making Saints Central your black and gold home for the New Orleans Saints.
I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
So 1 minute and 8 seconds, the Saints should be able to kind of walk this thing out of here pretty easily. And like I said, the Saints just didn't fall into the wind. The Saints offense finally got going and scored 2 passing touchdowns in the fourth game as they come out in the victory formation. And they set on the ball, and the Saints ultimately going to walk this thing into a victory. And they get a good 28-6 win. They snap the 3-game losing streak. They get 28-6 in the victory as they get into the victory formation. So the Saints, hey, they did what they were supposed to do. They beat a 1-11 Carolina team. A win's a win. You break the 3-game slide. And remember, these games count in the NFC South if you're going to keep pace with teams like Atlanta. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing. All right, Tampa Bay is up on Atlanta 28-25 right now as the Saints. This is going to be a victory. They're going to close out 28-6. And credit to Carr. We got to give Carr some credit in the back end of the game. Carr was able to get 2 touchdowns, one to Olave, one to Jimmy Graham, to help break the lead open. So let's credit Carr for today. I know a lot of people don't like Carr. They don't like Dennis Allen. But today they got the victory. Carr did what he was supposed to do. He just got the touchdowns on the back end. You got to credit them when they do what they're supposed to do. You can't ham them up and beat them up when they do what they're supposed to do. That would be a hypocrite. So the Saints win the game. We ultimately climb out of the 2-game snide, and it appears that Tampa Bay they will go with the victory. They're beating Atlanta 29-25 with 31 seconds left. So that's a doubly sweet victory that the Saints were able to get against Carolina, and plus Atlanta right now look like they're going to lose the game. Tampa Bay up 29-25. They got the ball right now with 31 seconds in the game. So doubly good victory because the Saints win, Falcons lose. So that's cool. All right. So anyway, fam, let's get right into it on the post-game stats. Y'all stay right with us. When the post-game pop up, we'll go right to it and cover it here live on the channel. So y'all just stick with us on that. All right. And we go over the team statistics today. 16-14 in terms of first downs. Panthers have it. But look at the third downs. Panthers 8 of 20, the Saints were 3 of 10, but really what the Saints defense shined was in the fourth down. The Carolina Panthers went for it 7 times, have 1 of 7 on fourth down. Credit the Saints. They had 79 total plays versus 52 by the black and gold. 303 total yards versus 207. 12-11 on the drives advantage Carolina. The Saints averaged 4 yards per throw versus 3.8 by Carolina. The passing attack went 110 versus 99. The rushing attack wasn't even close. Carolina 204 yards rushing on the Saints defense versus just 97 yards rushing by the Saints. Red zone, the Saints were 3 of 4 in the red zone. That's more like it. 0 of 2, Carolina was. Defense was on point, handling their business today. As you see the turnovers right there, 2 turnovers. The Saints defense very opportunistic. One by the Saints, which is the Carr pick. And of course, you look at the defense, the special teams punt for a touchdown was very good as well. And of course, the time of possession, Carolina ran away with a 34-50 versus 25-10 Saints. So very positive, man, defensive play today. Derek Carr finished 18 of 26 for 119. He went up to almost 5 yards per throw, 2 touchdowns against 1 pick. He was sacked once, and his rating went up to 88.5. So that's better. Alvin Kamara finished 12 for 56 for a score. Jamal had 11 for 43. The Saints team finished, like I said, 97 yards on 25 carries. Not much to speak of. Chris Olave, 4 catches off of 5 targets for 28 yards in the matchup versus A.T. Perry had a big one for 44 yards to help him get up there. Lynn Bowden, 4 for 4 for 24 yards. But Chris Olave had the touchdown. Jimmy Graham caught 2 passes for 16 yards, a big conversion catch that set up a score, and then a touchdown, which helped them get ahead in the play. You look at what happened with Bryce, finished 13 of 36 for 137, sacked 4 times by the Saints, a rating of 48% flat. Hubbard, like I said, Carolina, if anything they want to look at that's positive, their rushing attack was phenomenal. 39 rushes for 204 yards, 87 for Hubbard, 74 for Miles in the matchup, and Bryce Young threw 40 yards on 3 scrambles in there. Adam Thielen was their top guy, 5 catches, 74 yards off of 7 targets, but didn't get in the end zone. Of course, you see the turnovers there. Our top guys, credit Jordan Howden. Jordan Howden had a fantastic game. He finished with 10 tackles and a sack. He was in there making plays for with Marcus May out. We might as well just get rid of Marcus May. Jordan Howden got our safety of the future. Demario Davis finished with 8 tackles and a sack and a half for Demario Davis doing this thing. Nate Shepard have a half a sack. Granderson got 1. So the Saints finished with 4 on the day. So big plays by the Saints, big plays by the Saints. Defense in the matchup, they handle their business in the game. So like I said, you got to give credit Carr when his credit is due. You got to give him credit when credit is due, and he did a good job later on in the game, that is, to make it pop. So anyway, let's look at some of these scores, man, in the matchup here right now as we stand right here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now leading 29-25 as the Falcons are marching, and they just got down 1st and goal at the Tampa Bay 3-yard line with 4 seconds remaining. Can Tampa Bay do us a favor and keep Atlanta out of the end zone and go away with the victory? And, of course, you look at the Lions getting beat by the Bears. So they hammer the Saints and beat the Saints one week. Did the Saints kind of expose who Detroit was? Detroit is getting hammered by the Bears right now, 28-13. The Browns get a win. Without Watson being there, they're still winning. The people winning with Joe Flacco at the quarterback. Joey Flacco, 306 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. And they beating the Jaguars 28-21 in the matchup. How about that? And you look at the Rams. The Rams are up right now, 28-3 on the Ravens right now. Lamar Jackson not looking all that good, but 28-23 right now as the Rams are winning the game. And, of course, later on, you got the Vikings, Raiders, Seahawks, Niners, Bills, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, and, of course, the late game, the Monday game, is the Eagles and the Cowboys, which will be an interesting game. So, anyway, there you go. And we're going to see what's happening with this one. And there it goes. Tampa Bay wins the game 29-25. They stopped the Falcons. Tampa Bay beat the Falcons, which means the Falcons will fall to 6-7. Buccaneers will go to 6-7 on the day. And I kind of told them that, you got to be humble, brother, when you're holding on to the NFC. You got to stay humble, brother. But anyway, it don't make a difference. We got to take it from either one of those teams. But right now, Saints 28-6 on this game, man. Shout out to the fam. Y'all hit the like button. Like I said, we're going to end up kind of we're going to recap this thing in a little bit. We're going to go to the live press conference with Dennis Allen. You're probably going to see about 8 people pop up there today. You know how it is. When they win, you're going to see everybody. When they lose, you're going to see 4 people. When they win, you got about 8 or 9 people up there won't talk. So we probably going to end up seeing that as well in today's game. I'm just keeping it real. That's how it be. All right, so anyway, let me kind of bring up some of the standings right now, family. As you can see right now, Hold on, they haven't updated it yet, but Tampa Bay has they haven't updated it quite yet because they haven't gone final. But with the win, the Saints still remain at third place in the NFC South when it's all said and done because Atlanta and Tampa Bay control the tiebreakers. Tampa Bay beat the Saints and the Falcons beat the Saints. So everybody will kind of have the same record. Saints get 6-7. Atlanta falls to 6-7. Tampa Bay goes up to 6-7. Saints will remain in third place in the division. So that's a good victory for the Saints with all things considered. Omar said the conference still wide open. Yeah, we gotta get it together. We gotta get it together, man. But thank you, Omar. Appreciate that, bro.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
All right. Bishop says, Q, you been a little too polite to Carr. He threw Peter pass before Jim. Yeah, I know, bro, but you gotta. But the thing is, bro, I don't think I'm being too polite. I'm just stating what happened. I mean, Carr threw 2 touchdowns. I knew he tried to throw Pete the pass. That was boneheaded and foolish, right? We know that. But what has more weight, the stupid attempted pass to Andrews Pete or the 2 touchdowns that he threw on the back of the fourth quarter of the game? I'm just saying, what has more weight? What has more weight here? The touchdowns or the dumb pass to Pete? Because he threw 2 of them. He threw one to Chris Olave on a slant, and he found Jimmy Graham in the end zone. That's 2 touchdowns. Of course, the touchdowns have more weight. I'm just stating the obvious, It was a good game. It was a good game in terms of him finally getting in the end zone. That'll keep some pressure off of him, to be honest with you. That'll keep some pressure off him at least for another week. But all due seriously, the Carolina Panthers, you expect to beat the Carolina Panthers. They're the worst team in the NFL. You're supposed to beat this team. They finally got the offense going in the back end of the game, which is credit to them for that. 2 touchdowns from Derek Carr, which is a positive. But also remember that Atlanta lost today. So with Atlanta losing, the Saints winning, because if Atlanta had won, they would have been that'll been put you a little space between them. So with Atlanta losing to Tampa, that keeps everybody within the vicinity. Everybody's now 6-7. Everybody's 6-7. Of course, like I said, the tiebreakers for Atlanta and Tampa Bay is owned by those teams against the Saints. That is, we got the Giants coming up in the final of the 3 home games that we got before we have to hit the road against the Rams. But you're still there. They're gonna have to win a lot of games. So 4 games remaining. The Saints got to fix whatever they got to fix and make it work. So, like I said, 2 touchdowns on the back end. You can't kind of rail on them for that. They did what they were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Right, Gundam says the touchdowns. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not being too hard on these guys or too easy on them or whatnot. I know y'all don't like Carr. I know that. I know it don't matter what he do. If you'd have threw 50 touchdowns in this game, a lot of people, that still don't change the opinion on him. You know what I mean? That don't change a lot of people's opinion on Derek Carr. If you don't like him, you don't like him. You know what I'm saying? And I can't do nothing about that. Brent says, thank you, Brent, for the Cash App. Says, for what you eating, Big Q? Not possum. Not yet. Not yet. The possum, he done saved himself today, bro. He says, here cometh the proud vanilla possum peacock. Yo, yeah. Get ready to see a very spunky and happy and crap talking Dennis Allen out there. Get ready for that, because you can't help but to show it, because he can't show it often. So in the win, he got to show it. So thank you for the Cash App, Brent. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
Indeed, man. So like I said, y'all hang tight, man. When the press conferences pop up, we're going to go right to them in here and have live reaction to them. But that's what I'm saying. When you talk about what the Saints were able to do today in a matchup, I think it was a positive. It took them a long ass time to get going. But to me, it sweetens the pot when the Saints beat Carolina and Atlanta loses. Atlanta loses, that helps us out because it still keeps you in the hunt for something. You know, if Atlanta wins, that kind of forces things to be a little further out than what you would want them to be. So in the end, I think it's still a very positive. I'm just keeping it real. I just think it's a very positive win. Now we got to build on it, of course. We got to continue to build on it and still make things pop. But Carr, that by all counts, this is not a perfect affair at all when you talk about Derek Carr. You're absolutely right. Derek Carr, for most of the game, was insufferable. I mean, what he was doing out there. But on the back end, he cleaned it up. They made some plays, and they executed. and we got 2 offensive touchdowns in the fourth quarter. We don't get that often, family. It's like we don't see that very often. Like we get multiple touchdowns in 1 quarter of play, and we just have to see if things kind of bend and put on that. So, all right, yeah, I know, Bishop. I hear you on that, brother. I know, bro. I could tell, bro. When you said that, man, he's like, Q, you being a little too polite with Carr, ain't you? I'm like, nah, brother. I'm being polite by reading the statistics. How am I being polite by reading stats? You know, I'm reading the stats. Dude had 2 offensive touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That's a positive because we don't really see that often with this offense. So, you know, I'm just saying the stats. I'm not really saying no, you can't stand them. All right. Anyway, Jamie says, will the NFC South be the first division with back-to-back losing champs? How about that, man? I don't listen. It depends on what. Man, it's difficult to even call it because I don't trust this team. I really don't trust them. Now, we playing Carolina. Let's not get above ourselves. We supposed to have beaten this Carolina team. We were supposed to beat them, and we kind of struggled around with them, you know, ultimately for this entire length of the game until the fourth quarter came around. We was able to gain a little separation. But thank you, Jamie, for the super chat.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the stream, man. As we're gonna bring in Pops Q, man. Pops, man, listen, the Saints got the victory, man. They made it pop, they made it work. Everything was fine. Well, up until the fourth quarter, that is. Carr looked at really tough early on in the game. Saints hung around in there and make some plays, man, and get something positive done. So let's get your thoughts on that, my friend. Okay, I can't hear. We having problems hearing him. I can't hear him. Pops, are you still there? Check your sound, my friend. No, sir. I can't hear nothing. All right, so let's just pop back out and pop back in. Maybe that'll reset your sound settings. All right, kind of pop back out. There you go. All right, so anyway, we'll get them in there momentarily. Like I said, y'all hang close. Hit the like button, man. We got a W, man. We got a W today. We beat a team we were supposed to beat statistically or standing wise. It's the worst team in the NFL. We were ultimately able to give them, get the W on them. But in the end, what can I tell you, man? We are a team that just needs to keep on chopping wood. We got to keep on chopping wood, man. We got to keep chopping wood. So we're gonna bring Pops in. Pops, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you now.
Okay, good. I was saying earlier that Carr is playing as he should have. He picked the tempo up a little bit in the fourth quarter, which helped us to get the victory. He made some pretty good passes, and I noticed what a big surprise they're using Jimmy Graham in the red zone. I just can't believe they did that. And it resulted in 2 scores that really broke open the game from us separating the Saints and Carolina. I hope they would continue to use Jimmy in other situations, maybe on the field, maybe for a few stretch plays. He's got the length, and he can catch the football. He's very reliable at catching the football. He's got good hands. So he should be used in that offense more often. And the defense, what can I say about this Saints defense? And the young cornerback, I mean, he played outstanding. Everything that Carolina threw up, the kids in the back in the secondary played it to the hilt. I mean, I don't know how many.
I thought the block punt was a big play in the game. I thought defensively we came up with a couple of red zone stops that I thought were, big in the game. And then our ability to finish in the red zone today was kind of the deciding factor. I think we were 3 or 4. I think that's what it was in the red area today. So, we finished drives and scored touchdowns down there. So there's some positive things, but obviously there's a lot of things we got to fix.
What didn't you like about the offensive performance?
Well, I didn't think we had really hardly any rhythm, early on. Well, I shouldn't say that. I thought early on in the first quarter, I thought we did a good job on the opening drive, basically being able to run the football. We were converting early. We stalled in the red zone, and then we missed a field goal. And then I think for probably a significant portion of the game. I just didn't think we had great rhythm, offensively. I thought our guys, in the fourth quarter responded. We got the big play to AT. Then obviously we, scored down there in the red area, and then we had a fourth down stop, basically down there in our red zone, and get another touchdown to kind of finish off the game.
It looked like Derek and McCoy had an exchange of words. Is it concerning at all that your quarterback's finding a couple of these things on the field?
No, look, this is a highly competitive business that we're in, so I don't think anybody gets too sensitive. Guys want to win. And that's really what this is all about. So, look, we addressed it. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's water under the bridge. Let's move on. You know what I mean? Let's move on.
When it's two team captains yelling at each other, one has to be held back. You don't
Look,
that's a concern for team chemistry overall.
I think if you're ever in a highly competitive environment, and things aren't going the way that you want it to go, yeah, there's sometimes that you get frustrated. You lash out a little bit. I'm glad that both of them, have the balls to at least stand up and fight. You know what I mean? So, this isn't like a, hell, my wife and I argue, it happens. So let's don't make too much of it.
So you would say that this is something that you've seen before with teammates and team captains?
These kinds of things happen on the field. They happen on our sideline. They happen on our opponent's sideline. They happen in other NFL games. So I wouldn't read too much into it. I think that's two highly competitive guys that want to win.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Can I finish?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I just think when you have competitive guys and things aren't going the way that it needs to go, guys, they get pissed, and sometimes they express their emotions. And then you get over on the sideline, you calm down, and then you come back out and you regroup and you go. And that's what we did.
Sorry, but with that situation and then the fans even trying to chip at James a couple of times, the way that
Listen, stop. Okay, stop. We're making way too big a deal of it. Let's move on.
there's how you assess Derek Carr's play.
Yeah, I think up and down. I think much like the whole offense, right? Up and down. There were some good things. There's some things that we need to do better at. So that's how I would assess it.
Dennis, were you limited at all or a little more conservative than maybe you might want to be because of Derek's injuries? Did that play?
No, I don't really think so. I don't really think so. I just think we struggled to kind of get into a rhythm. I don't think our execution was where it needed to be. I did think we ran the ball well early on. And then obviously we weren't really able to throw the ball as well as we needed to. So then we began to get a little bit more loaded boxes and things like that made it a little bit more difficult to run the football. And then look, when we needed to go make a play to try to end the game, we made a play to end the game. And so I thought that was a positive.
Dennis, what do you think of the kind of hustle play by Debo?
I thought it was awesome. I think it's something we talk about all the time, defend every blade of grass, and he easily could have just allowed him to go into our end zone without, having to pay the price. He hustled down there, he stopped him short, and then we're able to get a red zone stop. I think that's part of, the culture of a winning team. And I thought that was exactly what we're looking for.
Dennis, going back to your opening statement, you guys ended up in a three-way tie for first again today, but I feel like the last couple of years there was a sense of the division hasn't gotten away from us. If we can get healthy, if we can play our best football game. Do you think this year it's even more about this team needs to start playing better than just, surviving long enough to let it stand?
Well, yeah, look, obviously I feel like we need to play a better brand of football. And that's what we're going to continue to work towards doing. But we talked about winning this week, and we took care of goal number one. And now we'll move forward and worry about the next week.
Jimmy gave you guys a little bit of a spark with that third down catch.
Yeah, I thought that was a hell of a catch, for him to go up there like that and then bring it in through contact is something that, we've missed a little bit, and it's been nice to see.
It was kind of hard to tell because Carolina was struggling on offense quite a bit. But did you feel like your defense gave one of its better performances in the last month or so?
I thought particularly in the passing game, I thought we did a good job. I felt like, again, I feel like there were some opportunities to get the quarterback on the ground that we didn't, and they ended up, converting a few more first downs via, his legs than I would have liked. And then we had, one misfit on a run, which ended up being a, explosive run. But I thought overall, they did some nice things. And I feel like kind of once we got them into, a passing game mode, I thought our guys, took advantage of it.
With Jimmy kind of giving you what he's given over the course of the past couple of games, touchdowns in the red zones for each of those, do you feel, what would you say your assessment is for the earlier decisions of him being inactive?
Again, I'm not, let's start focusing on what we need to do moving forward. And, I think we've all been through those, decisions and thought through all those things, but he certainly has given us a little bit of an uptick the last couple of weeks. Well, look, honestly, I'm not sure exactly how it got. I know Nephi got through pretty clean and did a heck of a job of taking the ball off the foot, and then D-Jack was there to pick it up and run it in. I thought it was obviously, the design of the rush was good, and the execution of the rush was good.
Coach, at what point does winning no longer cover over the multitude of things when it comes to football? How do you approach the message to this team after the win, even though you had a good margin of victory on the scoreboard?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
So you win by a big margin, but it's kind of an ugly game. At what point does winning not cover up for a lot of the issues?
Listen, every game that you play, whether you win or lose, there's going to be good things that happen in the game. There's going to be some bad things that happen in the game. There's never been a game that hasn't been the case. But ultimately, this game's about winning. And so we won a game today. Nobody's going to apologize for winning a game today. All right. We're going to take the win. We're going to understand the corrections that we need to make, and we're going to work hard to correct those things. And that's the process that you go through on a daily and a weekly basis.
Seemed like there was, we kind of spoke about it on Friday, but a little bit more of an expanded role for Zach Vaughn as a pass rusher. How do you feel that impact the game?
Yeah, look, hard for me to comment on that right now, but certainly, that's been something that we've, kind of needed, maybe a little bit more speed on the edge, especially with Cam kind of being a little limited, so we'll evaluate the tape and see how it was, but I would expect that, we could potentially continue to see him in a little bit of that role.
I know Chris was sick all week. How, was he battling through that today?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was battling through it, but, he fought through it. It was a hell of a play down there on the goal line to, catch the ball for the touchdown. So it was good, but he was not feeling well.
You touched on this earlier this year, but how did Jimmy respond when he wasn't in the lineup? And how did he?
Great.
Yeah.
Great. And he responded great when he got in the lineup. He's a pro. So said he'd be ready when his number was called. His number was called. He was ready. So that was good.
Dennis, can you talk about Jordan Howard? It seems like he was all over the place.
Yeah, look, I mean, just on first take after, just coming off the field, I thought there were some good things that I thought he did in the game. I think there's some things that, we're going to need to correct. And so I probably can't get too much detail as to, exactly how I think he played because, it's kind of hard to do when you're just coming off the field. But I saw some plays that he impacted the game, and I saw some plays that I felt like, we got to be better there. All good?
Derek had 37 passing yards until the fourth quarter when y'all had that run at the end. How do you feel like he played coming off those injuries last week?
I think up and down.
Like
Up and down.
Offense, but
I'd said he played up and down a little bit like the rest of the offense. That's really so it wasn't his best performance. But again, we won the game. So we'll make whatever corrections we need to make, and then and we'll move forward.
Was the early focus in the run game something that y'all were intent on having?
Yeah, look, we felt like that. Look, this is a really good pass defense, and they're top. I think they were 6th in the league in terms of pass defense coming into the game. So we knew that was going to be a difficult challenge, and yet we felt like there were some opportunities to potentially run the ball against them. I thought our regular running game was much better in this game, and particularly with us not having Taysom available to us, we knew that was going to be something that we were going to have to really do a good job of, is hand the ball off to the runners and let them go make yards. And I thought we did a pretty decent job of that.
And that's with the way the crowd has been the past 2 weeks. How much did you lose? I know you need to win every game. How bad did you need to win this week?
Yeah, look, I think everybody in that locker room and everybody in the city of New Orleans needed the Saints to win. And so I was glad we were able to do that.
What did you think of the front four so far from this game?
The what?
Front four.
On defense? Yeah, look, I mean, why don't you let me look at the tape and before I can really comment exactly how I thought, look, I did think we got after the quarterback a little bit more in this game than maybe what we have been able to do in the previous game. So that did kind of stand out to me a little bit. All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, Jimmy. All right, brother.
It's weird to catch passes here that wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah. It was weird getting hit for the first time. But, I'll take him any way I can.
Been preparing to do the fake dunk for a while?
I thought about dunking it, and I thought about the penalty, and the last time I did it, I was fined $32,000. So probably not going to do that.
That was a preseason game, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I can only imagine regular season.
$32,000 for a preseason.
Preseason game, making $1,000 a week. I got fined $32,000 after the rule change, and I might talk to Adidas and see if they can cover it for me.
Jimmy, I think this might be your first time talking to you since you kind of had that inactive streak. So how did you kind of approach that as a vet? It was not in the line.
Yeah. For me, it was a little different, obviously. I always want to be in that jersey for the city, for this team. And, I know numbers wise, it just didn't work out. And I kind of knew my role coming in this was going to be limited. And I just knew I needed to stay ready for the opportunity. So I did a lot of biking and just made sure I was just mentally ready for it. So I could, rise up and make a play, and, glad that happened.
Last week was your first touchdown as a Saint in the Superdome in a regular season game for a while. What did that feel like?
Yeah, it's, if you think about it, I was, I spent a year away from the game, and, ended up moving on to a sailboat, and, just always felt like there was something missing. And, there's nothing like scoring in this city and for this team and in this jersey. It was magical, and hopefully we get a lot more. And, I'm blessed to be able to play this game at 37. I feel like I've been kind of an underdog most of my life, so every play I get out there in that jersey, I play with a chip on my shoulder, and I'm always trying to prove people wrong. I had to throw the walker to the side today to make a couple plays, but, it's magical playing in here.
It's like a third down catch, I had to look and get it.
Yeah.
I got hit on the head as well, so kind of walked through the foot.
Yeah, well, I kind of wasn't supposed to be there, but they rerouted me, and it felt just like a moment with Drew, where he just trusts me, stays on me, and he just throws it up, and it just felt like the clock ticked back about a decade, and after that I kind of lose it and start screaming, going to the sideline, headbutt people. So, those moments are special. And, I got to say that's the one thing you can't replace, whenever you leave this game. The feeling, the moments like that, when the crowd goes crazy and when your teammates are on the sideline and, you're able to celebrate with them. that's what came back. And these are the moments I live for. And so to be able to do that here, you know, I'll never get tired of it.
Do you appreciate it in a different way, those kind of moments, than you did like 10 years ago? Like the different perspective of being a little bit older, does it feel different?
Monday feels a little different for sure. But you know, for me, it's a different mentality. You know, it's one where you're going in, and I remember kind of early in the game, one of the defenders, you know, asked me why I was still playing because I was 50. And so, you know, I use it as motivation. You know, if I'm 50 and you know, I jump over you and I'm making these plays, you know, it's more of like an inspiration for everybody, you know, for kids. And, you know, I mean, I came in here a college basketball player, you know, with a hope and a dream. And, you know, this team believed in me. And then again, this team believed in me, you know, in my late 30s. So, you know, every time I put that thing on, I always got something to prove.
Did you say you were living on a sailboat?
Yeah. I moved onto a sailboat in March in Miami. It's phenomenal, but just a little different. You know, it's big piece of mine. You know, I plan to sail around the world one day. So I kind of started that last year and went to some courses and, you know, focus on doing that later in life, but put that to the back burner for this opportunity.
Sorry if I'm repeating things you've already talked about, but, you know, you've made a decision to come back and put your body through all this again, which can't be easy.
Yeah.
When you weren't playing, do you have any moments of doubt or wishing you made a different decision to come back?
Well, one of the biggest things was, you know, I found cycling. And so, you know, I've been doing endurance cycling for the last, you know, basically a year and a half, 2 years. And, you know, my body felt amazing. It's the best I've ever felt. And, you know, for me and a bunch of my guys, a bunch of Pelotons in Miami, you know, I was always telling them, I wonder what would happen if I came back and how my legs would respond. You know, next year I've got about like 500-mile races. And so really the bike really helped me. You know, it enabled my legs to get stronger without having to put the load on, without having to do, you know, power cleans and big squats again. And I mean, it's crazy. I was in Italy biking across Tuscany beginning of July, and I got the call to come here. And Mickey called me and he asked me if I could still run. And I said, maybe. At the time, you know, I hadn't ran a route since 2021. So I came in here and ran some routes for the first time with the ball in the air and looked fast. So they ended up signing me, and here we are.
Jimmy, can you hear the crowd? Like they tend to react when you come in. Can you hear them?
Oh yeah. You know, it's interesting because, you know, this latter part of my career, I've kind of been a specialist in the red zone. And I remember when I was young here, or even in Seattle, you know, after I hurt my knee, I wouldn't go in the game until the red zone. There they call me like the big unit, like Randy Johnson. So I'll just go in and just catch fades. So, you know, when you get in the game and the crowd's standing up, you know, they know what's happening, and, you know, they know it's an opportunity for me to maybe get the ball, and, you know, you don't want to disappoint them. You know, you always want to rise up to the occasion.
What was the name of your boat?
Flight Risk.
Flight Risk?
Yeah.
And how big?
52 for Beneteau. Yeah.
Jimmy, I know that you're seen as, you know, a leader in that tight end room, and all.
Yeah.
And I know earlier on this season, it was kind of a heartbreaking moment for Boston Morel.
Yeah.
And everything. Did you have any words of encouragement for him, or did you two get an opportunity to talk?
Yeah, I mean, he is a warrior. You know, just his mentality every day, coming in, every day at practice, what he puts in, how much he loves his game is unmatched. I mean, it really is. And obviously him being, you know, from New Orleans, you know, being able to meet his family and, you know, to see where that mentality came from. And, you know, he's a special dude. And, you know, he truly gives everything that he has to this game. And, you know, I love playing beside him.
Jimmy, you got a 3-way tie for first place now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about everything?
Yeah, you know, it's been a lot of ups and downs, but to be in this position for us, we feel very fortunate, very blessed for this opportunity. You know, like DA said, you know, we're just going to take it one game at a time. You know, right now we're just looking to go 1-0 this next week, heal up, you know, and have a right game plan to come back here to the city and you know, try and go 1-0. So we just feel very fortunate for the opportunity. And, you know, it's December ball, you know, and this is when you got to step up and be special.
Hey, Jimmy, you probably have a better understanding of this fan base than
Yeah.
anybody else in the locker room. What's kind of your reaction or just to like how they've been the past couple of weeks with some of the bullying.
Yeah.
It's got to be your head to talk.
Yeah. This place is, they are accustomed to winning at a high level. They're accustomed to, going out there and putting up 50 points on everybody, and that's something that, when I hear it, it motivates me, because I know it just takes one play and that thing will switch. Like last week, ended up, dropping off this young kid and scoring, and it felt like the whole crowd just changed. And so I know this crowd, they love us, they believe in us, and they're there for us. But you got to make them stand up and holler. They love to dance in here, they love to party, so you got to give them a reason to.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
It's good to see you guys. It's been a while.
Derek, how happy are you to see Jimmy back?
He has been, he's been someone that, our lockers are just separated by one, and we have had a lot of great conversations where we're both in there very early. And so some early morning from training camp to now, just great times getting to know each other, just becoming good friends and good teammates, and having him, we knew that he could do some of these things. Obviously we hit him early in Green Bay, and now the past couple of weeks he's, been, a viable option for us. And just to see him still play at that level and still be able to execute at that level at his age. I heard him talking about his training and all that kind of stuff. And that's like the new thing. Like, as you get older, you have to change certain ways that you do things. And he knows what he's doing, and it's paying off for him because he still executes at a high level. He made the best play of the day was that catch, it was unbelievable. It's like the only place I could throw it. And it's Jimmy Graham. Like I watched Drew do it enough, it's like give him a chance, and he went up and made a heck of a play. So, you watch that play and you're like, he looks like he's, 28 years old, and really impressed. But I think the greatest thing is his leadership, what he brings to our team, just the mellowness, just his demeanor, when it's tough, when it's hard, those grinding days on a Wednesday or Thursday, he's been just fantastic for our team.
What happened between you and Eric in that situation?
Yeah, always. Yeah. I mean, things happen, man, we were both had our reasons. We were both right for an aspect. We were both wrong for an aspect. But that's not the only time that's ever happened, with me and a player or an offensive lineman or a center. That stuff happens. And, the best part about it, Rich Bisaccia always taught me those moments are going to happen. You're going to have conflict sometimes, confrontation, always circle back. So we went and circled back. We looked at each other, both smiled because we both already knew, but that was with all the cameras around, that stuff gets caught sometimes. But there's no problem. It's all good.
You've had a couple of those this year. Is that something that you kind of
me and Eric?
think about, or you mindful of?
Well, I'm just excited that we won a game today. People gritted through some stuff, and that's what I'm happy about.
You don't think that conflict's like maybe an issue, though?
Brother, I'm not trying to be negative with you anymore. I'm sorry.
When you say fight through it, how much were injuries? How much were you affected? How much were you trying to fight through stuff physically? Did that limit you at all?
Everybody's dealing with stuff. They put the little injury report out there, and there's everyone, there's 8 guys on every team every year, or every week, I should say. And everybody's dealing with stuff. I grew up in a time where there are certain things that you may not put your best film out there, but are you still willing to go out there and be out there for your teammates? Right. And, we have a lot of guys that make those decisions all the time. Like, no, we're going to be out there, and it is what it is,
You're pretty good with transparency. How would you assess your play today?
We won. We won. I got enough yards and touchdowns for a lifetime, man. I came here to win, and hopefully we can just keep doing that.
Derek, everything you went through this week, how does it feel to get the win? How are you feeling?
Yeah, my favorite thing is to watch my teammates celebrate. So, we got to go in that locker room, and everyone was dancing. Coaches, special teams coach right in the middle of it, watching Riz dance and all that. I mean, this game's hard enough, And so whenever you can get a win and watch everybody celebrate, knowing, you see guys, a smile on their face, what they dealt with all week, what that guy dealt with. And you watch them and you see that smile and like, that's those, like Mickey said in there, like you're going to remember the people you do it with. And because their story, you know what's happening in their life. And that's what was cool to me. I saw 2 or 3 guys I know they were dealing with some stuff nobody knows about, but they came out, gritted it out, and we were able to get a win and see them smile, even though it was a hard week. It was really cool.
There was a report that you got a rib fracture. Is that right? And is that limited at all in anything you're trying to do?
I did. I've had a couple this year. I think I'm up to 3 now, which there were guys last year on the team here that were dealing with those, and they what's crazy is they had a whole bunch of them last year. They know exactly how to treat them, like just stuff to help you be at your close to as best as you can. And so ribs on court or any rotational athlete are tough, but I felt good enough. They felt confident enough that I could at least be out there and, execute.
Is that like a mobility risk or a pain management thing? A little bit of both?
Yeah, because pain would be the mobility issue, but we were able to do some things to help that as best we could.
Maybe the other one's plan.
Sorry.
Did that affect the game plan that you guys were trying to work around?
No, we knew. I mean, this scheme, they want to stop the pass. They hold their shell looks. They want to take away the deep stuff and all that kind of stuff. And I think they're only giving up 180 yards passing all year. And so the emphasis. I used to play that scheme all the time in Denver. That's the emphasis. You got to be able to run the ball to win the game. And when you do have pass plays down the red zone, try and be efficient. Try and got to hit a shot. There's just formulas to playing certain teams. And trust me, I'll throw 20 yards in a game and get a win any day. Like I said, I came here to do that. So however we have to do that, we've thrown for 300 and lost, and it's a crappy week. Like now everyone have a smile on their face. We got to win. And whatever the scheme is, man, you just, everybody tries to attack things differently. And so going into it, it wasn't like maybe they didn't tell me, but I knew it was going to be a heavy run the ball day because every time I played this scheme, you got to be able to run the ball efficiently, and we were able to do that.
But Derek, at what point does the way you win matter as much as getting the win?
Man, in 10 years, I've been a part of some really big wins, and you have a huge day on one side of the ball or the other, and then I've been a part of some win or some games where you have a great day and you lose, or some games where you lose. And one thing I've learned is that you really don't care how us in the building, we don't care how we win. You just got to win. This league is way too tough. To try and nitpick. The nitpicking is to get better for the next game. If we're going to do those plays and that kind of stuff and get better as individually. But you just take a win anytime you can get them. You always hear a coach. I've been a part of these where it wasn't pretty, and then hey man, we able to get a couple at the end and put it away. And it wasn't pretty. I've heard coach say it wasn't pretty, but we won. And so I've just adopted that, and I believe that any way you can do it, you just want to win.
It was a unique play. Did you get away with one-on-one, or what did you see when you threw that one that went to Andrew's feet? I guess you were glad you didn't catch it.
I was trying to dirt it at Chris. Chris had broke in, the safety was there, and I was trying to dirt, but as I got hit, it just kind of fell to him. But I wasn't trying to throw it to Andrus. That was not a target. Yeah.
Derek, I'm sorry to belabor this, but
You're fine.
When people see the quarterback and the center arguing throughout a game on television, it's going to be perceived as this is just something bubbling out of the locker room. This is something that's happening that we're now seeing.
Yeah.
What would you say to that? And does that perception matter?
The perception of it, no, that doesn't matter. To say, I mean, I've always been honest with you guys. To say that there was a problem before, we had a great week of texting each other and practice and laughing and having fun and all that kind of stuff. So me and Eric have no issue. In the moment, something happened. The reason doesn't matter. Everyone wants to know the reason. Everybody wants to know the why and what. Doesn't matter. We were both right. We were both wrong. At the same time, we both were like, my bad. He was like, my bad. I was like, my bad. And that was it. And I've done that with my 2 older brothers probably 50 times in my life, and it happens. But when it's like in a frustrating moment and that kind of happens. It is intensified as I've learned, because people want to know, oh no, what's wrong? There really is nothing wrong. We had a moment that I've had some of those moments in my 10 years a lot of times, with a coach, with a teammate, somebody. And just I always learn, you always circle back, you make it right, and you keep going. But that kind of stuff happens all the time at practice. Not saying with me and him, I'm saying just with teammates. That stuff happens. And you just make sure you always, circle back, make it right. And we did that. And so I love Eric. I love Eric to death. But I would be completely honest with you. There's no problem.
One last question for Derek and then Carl Granderson.
Derek, when did the rib fractures happen? Sorry, I mean, it's not going to be, I just need to ask that.
You talking about?
Yeah, is that
there's
the Green Bay game? There's the other rib fractures.
Yeah, there's the other two. No one even knew. I played through them, but the one was last week, Detroit. Yeah.
But you'd already had the two.
A different time. It was a different. It wasn't those two games. It was a different game. Yeah. Good. Yeah, appreciate it.
Can you talk a little bit about how well y'all felt the defense played today?
Yeah, we played a good game. We came together today as a team, started off fast, got a quick little 3 and out on defense, gave the offense an opportunity. So we just came out ready to play.
Probably if you're aware, but there's oftentimes sort of this narrative that players get big contracts and then their production falls off. How does it feel to sort of be setting the example on the opposite side of that?
Yeah, I came a long way. Started from the bottom, try to work my way up with effort, energy, and execution. So I started off on special teams and now starting defensive end. So I came a long ways, put hard work, dedication in every day, come to work, and try to play hard for my teammates.
It's one thing to get a sack at a big moment in a game, but to see that followed up by a missed field goal, how does that kind of compound the success of it?
Rather you know it or not, every play matters. So getting a sack took them out of field goal range, made it harder on the kicker, put pressure on the kicker. So that was a big turning point in the game. And so we just executed and finished out. The defense held the offense, and we got the W.
Carl, what was the mindset of the defense approaching this game? Did you guys feel like the last couple games have been uncharacteristic and you had a better performance to put out there?
Yeah, we know overall we're a better defense. So going into each game, our objective is to stop the run so we can get after the quarterback. And that's what we did today. They had a few rushing yards, but we was getting after them. So moving forward, we got to stop the run. Everybody going to come in with a game plan. We just got to execute better than them.
How do you think Cam Jordan has helped you evolve in your game?
Say that again?
How do you think Cam Jordan has helped you evolve when it comes to technique?
Yeah. Cam Jordan been a big role model since I came in my rookie year. And, I looked up to him. He's a heck of a player. So he been teaching me, and I've been watching him over these last couple of years, inspirational. He motivated me. Even when I'm doing something wrong, he get on me about it. So he's a great leader, great captain, and I'm thankful to have a great mentor like Cam Jordan.
When a team has an offensive lineman that goes out of the game after the first snap, obviously that has a big impact on the offense, but does that change anything about what y'all do over on the defensive side? Well,
it just depends on your mindset. My mindset after a turnover, it don't matter. We could get the ball on the 1 yard line. We gonna take care of our offense. Those are our brothers. We got their back. My mindset getting on back to the field is, let's go. I got your back. So I'm thankful to get out there and go stop them. We got another opportunity to make a big play on defense, and we got our offense back. We're a team.
For Carolina, they lost one of their offensive linemen early on in the game due to an injury. Is that something that y'all focus in on and know that there's a backup in that spot? Is that something y'all think about at all?
We game plan all week. It's a system, so they was taught to execute and run their plays. So it's a system. Injuries happen, so I'm pretty sure they thinking about the next man up, and we got to take advantage of that. So that's what we did today. They had an injury. We got the W, and we executed better than they did.
Bryce Young missed on a lot of throws. Could you sense the extent to which pressure from the defensive line affected his accuracy?
Yeah, definitely. We had some interior pressure early on, and allowed him to scramble. So once he get off the spot, he's looking to either run or get to panicking. So we was able to cause pressure on the defense and get after him and, affect his judgment.
Zach wants a little bit of time with the defensive line throughout the week. Sort of, what have you seen with him fitting into that group and helping to contribute as a pass rusher?
Say that again?
Zach Vaughn over the course.
Oh, yeah. He been ready, so he's a pass rusher. He can stop the run. Outside linebacker is no different from defensive end. We got the same job, so he's been contributing and stepping up big for pass rushing on the other side. And he got a sack last week, so he's learning and he's doing his thing. So I got his back.
Anything else for Carl?
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to the fam, man. I think that's the end of the hit parade. Like I said, it's always a bunch of people when the Saints get a W, man. And shout out to the fam. Thank y'all for being with us in this stream. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. And shout out to King Morrison, man, with the super chat. He said, "What happened on the sideline? I missed the second half." This is what the people were talking about, the discussion between Eric McCoy yelling at Derek Carr. This happened in serious in the game. And this happened prior to halftime. But, ultimately they kind of hashed it out between them two. They got together, made it work. And obviously it worked well for them because after they came out into the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, the Saints were able to get multiple touchdowns in the back end of the fourth quarter to close out the game 28-6. So a lot of stuff to unpack there with everything that was said based on what happened with Dennis Allen. And, of course, and a lot of people don't get that with Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen acts like that. He gets spicy like that at the press conferences with people after wins because that's really the only time that he can really do it, so. And he doesn't win a lot, but when he does, that's what he does. So thank you, King Morrison. Appreciate that, man. Super chat.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
All right. Shout out to Brent, man. Appreciate you, Brent, with the Cash App, man. Says, hearing Graham, hope he stays next season. Yeah, hopefully the Saints could utilize Graham more so over the next 4 games. And the season is now confined to a month worth of games in terms of the regular season. If the Saints are going to make a move and improve, and before I bring Pops Q back in, let me go over some statistics with you guys in a matchup. This is the NFC South currently. Tampa Bay they beat Carolina in a close one. They're now winners of 2 in a row. Tampa beat Atlanta today, and they squeaked out a win. They're winners of 2 in a row. They now occupy the top spot in the NFC South. It's a 3-way tie with the Bucks, Falcons, and Saints are there. But Tampa Bay and both Atlanta control the tiebreakers on the Saints. We both have these guys lined up on the next, 2 of the next 4 games that the Saints have to face off against. If you can see some of the playoff spots as they stand, the Eagles, Niners, Lions, and Bucks. They're the top teams right now. And, of course, you see underneath there the Cowboys, Vikings, Packers. And remember, the Packers have the tiebreaker on the Saints too. That's why you have to beat these teams. The Packers are now 6-6, third in the NFC South. The Vikings also have the tiebreaker, so that's why you're supposed to beat these teams. Saints lined up against the Vikings and the Packers and lost. And then, of course, you come down here to own the bubble teams, and you see Falcons hold the tiebreaker. You see the Saints right just barely better than they're 6-7. The Bears are 5-8. They won today. So the Saints have to beat the Falcons. They have to beat the Bucks to claim the NFC South to get in, because there's no way they're going to be able to get in any other way, because most of these teams that are going to be there are teams that already hold the tiebreakers on the Saints. All right. So shout out to Brent. He says Mike sellout Hoss being bossy at the conference. Is he? We're going to, whatever he's doing or whatever he's saying, I'm going to cover it, man. Probably not today. Probably tomorrow, whatever Hoss is saying. Like I said, Mike Hoss is a kiss up. He's a brown noser. You don't supposed to be bending over and acting like that when asking questions to people. I know you work for the people, but have some dignity. And people are going to call out that. You're supposed to have some dignity and integrity when you ask. And I know you work for Making Loomis and the Saints, but that mean that you got to cut your stuff off so that you can stand up there and have a job with them? Nobody told you to do that. So, I'm going to stay on Mike Hoss, because Mike Hoss is ballless. He's and Who That Nation knows that Mike Hoss is a piece of garbage. We want the truth. Don't stand up there and placate for Mickey Loomis in this game. But anyway, tonight, listen, today the Saints handled the business. They did what they were supposed to do and beat the Carolina Panthers. It was doubly sweet because Atlanta lost today too. They don't give them ability to step out front of us, because if they would have won, they could have had a really, they could have stepped out, had a little separation there. But they still don't close things down. The Saints still have some tough games to come up with in their schedule heading next. The Saints up next, their next up opponent is the New York Giants, and the New York Giants are currently on a 2-game winning streak. So, let me put that schedule up, and then we'll bring Pops Q back in here as well for him. But thank you, Brent. Appreciate the super chat, brother.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up and bringing me back to this world.
Yeah, shout out to you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. And this is, like I said, this is the next 4 games right here, week 15 through 18 that's remaining. They have the final 3 of the home games against the Giants. That's next Sunday at noon on Fox. Giants on a 2-game winning streak, so the Giants playing some good football right now, so that's not going to be a very easy win. Los Angeles lost to the Baltimore Ravens today, so we won't see them until Thursday. So the Saints got the Giants, and then they got the Los Angeles Rams on a short week going to LA. So they got the Giants on next Sunday. Then that following Thursday, they got the Los Angeles Rams, and then a few days after Christmas, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their building on the 31st, and then they ultimately close out the season January the 7th against the Atlanta Falcons. So what they're saying is everything is before them. These games, the Saints have to win as many games as they possibly can to kind of clean out this stuff and move forward. So with that being said, let me keep it moving and pushing. We'll bring in Pops Q. Pops Q. Feel free to drop some science on us about the Saints win and what you heard, as well as the post press conference. Here we go.
Well, I think the Saints, the Saints have a great opportunity. These last 3 games that you got coming up are all beatable opponents if they come to play. They played. I think they might have learned something. I'm hoping that they learned something from the use of Jimmy Graham in the red zone. Jimmy can go up and get the ball. So he can draw, Jimmy will draw coverage off of some other wide receivers or other pass catchers that get in the end zone by his very presence. So he could have other teams trying to make sure they double Jimmy Graham, and then all of a sudden somebody else sneaks in and grabs a touchdown pass. So if they continue to use Jimmy, which they should have been doing all season long, I don't understand why. I don't know if he was a healthy scratch or what. But they need to incorporate him in this offense, especially in the red zone. I'm hoping that Jimmy Dennis Allen would have sense enough to look at the film from this game and say, well, we got something here with Jimmy, and Carr and Jimmy is really getting close, so that would give another weapon for Carr. Carr still is holding on to the ball too long. A couple of times he got sacked from holding on the ball too long, holding on to the ball too long. that's going to happen. The offensive line can't hold those guys out forever in the day. And so he's got to correct that. I don't know what it's going to take for him to understand. You got to be able to, as soon as you get the snap, your eyes got to be looking so you can get rid of the ball. Give your wide receiver a chance. That just like that other catch that the young man made down the field. He threw that ball up down the field. I think his name was Perry. And he caught the ball, but he had to wait for the ball to come to him. He was behind the secondary. Now, if he got the air under the ball properly, he would have been in the end zone in a split second. But he had to wait for the ball to come, so he made the catch, thank goodness. But once he caught the ball, the DB came up on him and tapped him, so he couldn't go anywhere after that. But I'm glad they got the win. I like to see a little feistiness on that field. So they can start learning how each other adapts to each other's play. Something happened between them. They disagreed on. Well, hopefully they learned from it and they'll be able to move forward. I don't know. I know this New York Giant team is pretty decent. I don't know what their record is, but I know they play pretty good ball. So. The Saints should are they coming? I think they're coming here, so they should be able to take that win. And then they got 2 dog fights because the way I look at it, Atlanta, the Saints, and Buccaneers are always fighting for that NFC South title. It's going to be a very, very interesting. In other words, what I'm saying is for the Saints to have a good shot at, they'd have to win out. If they can beat, because they lost to both Atlanta and the Panthers, they'd have to win these next 3 games to have a shot at getting the title. See what I'm saying, son? So they need these games. They need this New York game. They need the Atlanta game, and they need the Buccaneers game. So I'm hoping that they could do it. Maybe they found something today. The running game wasn't that was pretty good. They were pretty good. They had a pretty good running game with Kamara. Those defenses that these 3 teams that they come in the face are not hell beaters. But Derek just got to understand he has to read over that defensive backfield. And if it's starting to break down, check it down. Don't stand there and wait until somebody grab you and put you on the ground. So that's how come he keeps getting these injuries. Now, he didn't get hit. I don't know if he got sacked or whatever. Remember, I think he did get sacked once. But he didn't get slammed to the ground. I mean, but you got to understand, get rid of the football. You have to get rid of it. So they have a shot. That's the only thing I can say. They have a shot. If they can play like they played today, if the defense can turn it on like they did today, they have a pretty good shot of winning. And if they can win those last 3, I think they get the division.
Yeah, that we gonna check on that because I know I've been watching how the Saints played this game, and listen, it was a good win because they needed to win. They needed this win badly, man. They
Yes.
needed this damn win badly. They needed to snap the 3-game losing streak that they had going on. And then, of course, you need to keep pace with the adversaries. So 6-7 puts the Saints in a favorable position in terms of it's the best that they can do right now, being that they lost to a lot of these teams. And if they're going to make the playoffs, the only way they can make the playoffs is they would have to go through and win the NFC South. There is no hope for them as a team underneath. If they don't win the South as a wild card, there's no hope because they lost to too many teams. They lost to the Packers, they lost to the Vikings, and each one of these teams are before them in the wild card race. They own the tiebreaker. So the only way in, they pretty much set themselves up is to win the NFC South. But they're behind on losses to both Tampa Bay and the Atlanta Falcons. That we have to beat them, as well as hope for these other teams to stumble and fall so that they can win and keep pace, being that they're not in control of their playoff destiny. They had an opportunity to kind of give that thing up, but they got a good win against a team that they were supposed to be. The thing I really like about the game is the fact that the Saints scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. We don't often see them score multiple touchdowns in a quarter. And it was good seeing it was passing touchdowns from Carr to Jimmy Graham to Chris Olave for them getting in the end zone on the back of the game by passing the ball for touchdowns. So that was a positive. So even though we know the Panthers offense was basically passing offense wasn't there, these people ran for 200 yards, almost 200 yards rushing on the Saints today. 200 something yards of rushing they had against the Saints team today. So they were able to do some stuff, 204 yards on 39 carries for 5.2. If they had just a little passing game, it might have changed. But the Saints credit the Saints defense, credit the Saints special teams. The Saints defense got after them. They didn't allow them to score, even when they had that big old run to get down there to the 1 yard line. The Saints hustled down there, pulled the guy out by the 1 yard line, then stopped them from scoring the touchdown. They ultimately forced them to kick a field goal. That was positive. Then the defense kept them out of the end zone all damn day long. They got turnovers. They was able to sack them. And then the special teams were able to get in there, and the special teams made some plays. They had a punt block and in return for a touchdown to help to keep the Saints ahead of the Panthers until the offense caught speed, and they had the one touchdown run by Elvin early on, but then Derek Carr comes back with the 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So after having a very lackluster game, he kind of cleaned it up in the second half and made it look better. So whatever happened after the Eric McCoy and Derek Carr kind of speaking roughly at each other, man, keep that up because we need to see some fire from the Saints.
Yeah.
We damn need to see more fire from the Saints offense, and we've seen it with Carr fussing at McCoy, and Carr gets into it with everybody because nothing's his fault. Most of the time, he don't make no fault. So he got the win today. It was a positive thing. We are now 6-7. We're in a 3-way tie in the NFC South, and we just got to keep on pressing on. Like I said, the next teams that's up next is the Giants. They're on a 2-game winning streak. They're 4-8, 2-5 on the road. They done won 2 in a row. They dealing with a lot of stuff. Saints got a better record, but still in all, you got to be careful with these type of clubs because they come in here and they want to try to upset you. So even though they're giving the Saints a lot of opportunities here, we're trying to see how they kind of keep that offense going. That was the biggest thing that I want to see moving forward. Keeping that offense driving. That's a big part of the game. So anyway, with that being said, man, listen, I appreciate everybody for being in this episode of the stream, man. Listen, hit the like button, family. If you're not a member or subscriber to the channel, y'all feel free to smack the hell out the like button. Hit the subscribe button. It's all, listen, I tell you, your bank account won't blow up. It's absolutely free to hit the subscribe button. It's free to hit the notification bell. It's absolutely cool and free as well, and it helps out the stream. If you share the show's links on your social media feed, we up in this thing, man. We handle the business here at Tacoma, and it's always good to do our game day coverage. All right, thank you, DJ D Smooth Snake Bite. Appreciate you guys. Much love to the family. Listen, we're gonna be back tomorrow, family. We'll recap this thing because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have some reaction streams to kind of do about whatever. I just seen some footage of Mickey Loomis was in the locker room with a couple of the dudes. He was putting his hands up in the air. He's been feeling the pressure because you don't see Mickey Loomis in there holding his hands up with the rest of the players and doing that kind of stuff. He usually be somewhere eating clam chowder and drinking orange juice, but he was actually in that locker room with his hands up because he's been feeling the pressure. He's been feeling what we've been saying, and today it was a win you were supposed to get. I'm very happy for that. Let's keep this thing going. We got 4 games remaining in the season against the Giants. We got some teams coming up we got to beat to stay relevant if we're going to have a playoff run. We got to handle it. Nothing. If it's no playoff run, we don't want you around here. We don't want to hear no more excuses. It's either playoff or bust for the Saints. That's what's happening. So with that being said, I'm going to get out on that. Ed, let me give my Pops an opportunity to give his last thoughts. Pops, what's your last thoughts on the game, my friend?
No, man, I tell you what, I enjoyed the game. They seem to have come alive in that the latter part of the third and the fourth quarter to seal the victory. And I'm just hoping that they can maintain the same intensity when they play against these New York Giants, which is coming to the Dome. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm pulling for them to try to take all these games that's remaining. I really do think they have an opportunity. Especially the way the defense is playing. Defense has been playing outstanding, and they did it today. They also did it last weekend. We just couldn't muster the offensive firepower to get the victory. But go Saints.
All right, appreciate you. All right, y'all. So with that being said, y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to check out the pro shops. There's several pro shops. Links is in the description section below. It's holiday time, family, and there's some really good discounts that's at the pro shops. We got several pro shops. The links is in the community section and also in the links in the description section below. So if you want to check out anything from the pro shops, you know, we got TSC gear available. No excuses gear that's been really doing pretty well. We got Fire DA shirts in there. We also have the Dad Slap shirts when we use this. It's a cartoon representative of me slapping the hell out of a referee. All that great stuff is available at the pro shops. Y'all check them out. Also, some Pale gear in there too for my Pelican people. The really popular shirt that's selling a lot of shirts right now is the Not On Her Defensive Player of the Year shirts, available for men, women, children, everybody. And also the Grand Theft Alvarado shirt is there as well. King Room, there's 2 shirts by Brandon Ingram. One's called King Room, and they got a picture of animation of him with a crown on, and the other one is Magnum BI. We also got Zion, a few shirts in there. So all that's available at the pro shops, man. Y'all check it out, man. And really, y'all represent the family members. Don't buy none of the Saint shit until they get their stuff right. So support the family members and their platforms and streams, man. It's a big help. So with that being said, I'm going to get out on that. I appreciate y'all, man. I'll holler at y'all on Monday. Much love. And who that take?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Your black and gold home for the New Orleans Saints.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelican, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps